Hey, Thomas.
Hey Eric, how's it going?
Going well. Good to talk to you, man.
It's been a while. We managed to miss a week.
We skipped 49 consecutive episodes, and on number 50, we just couldn't sync up. You were in the middle of moving. There was all sorts of fun things going on, and just couldn't find an hour out of the day to sit down and talk to each other. It's a little disappointing, but understandable.
Yeah, it turns out moving is difficult.
Yeah, and I hear you had quite the journey from California to Colorado.
Yes, my daughter who didn't want to move anyways was with me on the flight, which got delayed, which meant I missed my changeover, and so we spent the night in Texas.
That for somebody who is somewhat of a agoraphobe, that had to have been enjoyable.
Xanax is an amazing drug and really does its job.
It's good to hear. So you weren't, although you were out of your comfort zone there, it was me- better living through medication sort of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't really too bad. I enjoyed what little time I had in Texas, just sort of watching everything be gigantic and uh, more Camaros than I've ever seen in my life. Everyone drove a truck or a new Camaro.
Well, it's not like you were there that long either. So you made it to Colorado the next day.
Yeah, I made it on Sunday and started unpacking, and I think I was unpacking until yesterday. So I was unpacking for a solid 6 days straight.
It's weird thinking that you're not here anymore. It's like I understand this is how we've always done the show, but the knowledge of knowing that we can't drive and go have a beer together, or we're not going to have a beer together next week, or
Right.
it's weird, man. It's kind of crazy.
I tell you what, though, I love this place so far. It's
Now you got to experience some snow, huh? That was your kids' first snow, or what?
it was the first snow that they can remember. They've seen snow when they were very young, but
Mm,
yeah, they were blown away. My daughter discovered that snow is cold, which I,
yes, yeah.
I didn't think a 13-year-old would find surprising, but she did. And my youngest son made snowballs and started throwing them at everything he could target.
Well,
And yeah,
being from Southern California, it could be difficult for your daughter to have a real concept of what cold is. Like
right.
they in theory understand what cold is. Ice is cold. I get it, but they don't understand what it's like to walk out in snow in cold.
Yeah, and now it's getting down. It's at 18 degrees right now,
Fahrenheit,
and
18 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah, and
That's pretty cold.
they're pretty sure that this is as cold as anything ever gets or ever has been, and they're very pleased with it. They
Eight,
like this.
18 degrees is pretty cold, man. It's really that cold? I mean, that's well below freezing.
It's cold, but it's not 3 seconds and then you're done cold. It's not negative temperatures cold.
Are you sure you're not reading Celsius?
No, it's 18 tonight and it's going to be 11 degrees low tomorrow.
That is, I'm pulling. You're right. It says it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit right now, according to Google. That is amazing. I have not lived in that sort of cold in a very long time.
It's it's nice because I have a warm house and you just sort of don't notice it. And if you need to
Yeah.
slightly adjust the temperature, you crack the window open a centimeter and you're good to go.
Well, that's the thing, and you get to benefit from this. That sort of weather is not terrible. I mean, it's definitely tolerable. People live in it all the time, obviously, but it's a lot more tolerable when you don't have to go into the office. Like when your office
Yeah.
is downstairs, you don't have to go out there try to start the car. That's what I remember growing up on the East Coast. I grew up outside of DC, And I remember when it got that cold, you'd walk out to your car, start the car, and go back into the house and let the car run for 10, 15 minutes so everything warmed up.
Yeah.
Then you'd go out there with your ice scraper and start scraping the ice off your window. This was everything you have to do every morning to get to work. And it's like, oh, that's when it starts to suck.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty good. The snow that we got was only a little, only an inch or so, and we're not looking at much more than that tomorrow either. It's really dry here,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't expect, and gigantic. I mean, huge. The
Mm-hmm.
space isn't at a premium like it is in San Diego. So in San Diego, when you build a target that you expect to have 500 shoppers at a time in, you build a parking lot that fits 200 shoppers, which
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make any sense, but it's what they do. But here, if they have a target where they expect 500 people, they build a parking lot for 1,000 people. It's the exact opposite. So everywhere you go, there's just extra space. They're like, yeah, we'll put a planter here, or like an extra
Yeah.
parking space.
Well, and
And
even the parking spots themselves, it's like you can actually park your car and open up your doors and not have to squeeze in and out.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, there's no such thing as compact car parking here. But it's so far it's been great.
Yeah, my wife, who's clearly listening to me do my podcast, just sent me a message. Hey, don't forget to tell them about having to pour hot coffee on your car door so that you could unlock it. Which we used to have a Suzuki Samurai, and everything about that thing froze, including the gas cap. So you drive around, and you'd have to plan getting gas when it was like during the day hot enough so that the gas cap was not frozen and you could get it off. And uh, there are many times where we didn't have the hot coffee to try to unfreeze the door, and it was a soft top, so we'd pop the top and one of us would have to climb in from the inside and open
Oh
the
my
door.
god.
That was a terrible vehicle to have in the winter. I mean, it was a Suzuki Samurai, so it was a super fun vehicle, but that thing would just everything about that car froze.
Well, I heard you guys are the ones with all the weather right now. You've
I
been
think it's over. Yeah, but we've been getting here in Southern California. It's rained so much that it's taken us out of a drought that we've been in for years. That's how much rain we've gotten, and it's just been constant. It hasn't. We were supposed to get another really bad storm last weekend that never really hit. I mean, it rained. It was a pretty consistent rain, but it wasn't the worst we've had by any means. But yeah, it's been unusual for us. I enjoy it. I mean, it's going to come back and bite us in the butt because eventually everything will dry up again, and then we'll have all these fire hazards all over the place because there's so much green out here now, which is very uncommon for San Diego, anyways.
right now here it's completely brown because everything's frozen.
Yeah. Now, do they? But it's winter, right? Things.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole season changing of the season thing. Does everything start to bloom in the spring and summer there? Do you know, or have you? Obviously, you haven't lived there, but
I have no idea. I've
I'd be
seen
curious.
pictures of it looking nice and green, and
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that right now. I mean, you can tell everyone has a lawn. It's
Hmm.
just right now it's dead.
Yeah, and that's pretty common for areas that have seasons.
I'm certainly not used to it. I've never had seasons.
Yeah, you better get used to like pushing a lawnmower. You're gonna need
Well,
that.
I get used to telling my kids to push a lawnmower.
Oh man, I'm gonna say something. uh, Just some experience that I've had over the last couple weeks, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be a controversial thing to say. I realize that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Through everything I've seen over the last, I mean, this has been going on for a while, but the last 2 or 3 weeks especially, it I it actually pays to be a bad developer. I
What?
can't. I cannot tell you. So part of our business is, we take on clients, and we'll do greenfield applications, which is great. Somebody comes to us, has an idea for an application. We'll scope it for them. We'll let them think of all the different angles. We'll help them build it. And we have clients like that, and those are hands down the most exciting projects to work on. But we
Sure.
also take on clients that have legacy code, and this is pretty common where people will come to us and say, hey, we've started this project, we're about halfway through, or we're about 80% through, or we have this product that we've based our entire business on that has this huge application behind it that was written 10 years ago, or written by this one developer during the weekend in his garage. And we kind of get in there and we examine the code, and we try to give them very honest assessments on what we can do to manage it. And we've had some experience these last couple of weeks where it's like the code has just been so bad. We've unfortunately had to tell clients, listen, there's not a whole lot we can do for you here for the budget you want to spend. And, or one of our biggest clients, who's one of our longest running clients, has this huge application that they needed this one particular piece of the application change because they were changing their payment processing system. It was literally updating some account information, and there was one section of the ecosystem that was written by various people, and everybody knew the code was bad, and we honestly tried to avoid it like the plague because it was just like nobody wanted to touch it. And it's like the code is so bad, it's like we're going to have to call one of these old developers back and ask them what the hell they were doing to do this, because we just couldn't figure it out. And now it just happens to, we have a great team. I mean, I tell you, we got a couple of guys that once they get their teeth into something, they just don't let go until they figure it out. And that's one of the great things about our little company is we're not one developer, we're not two developers, we're a consortium of developers.
Right.
And you put 2 or 3, 4 of us onto a big problem, and somebody's going to figure something out. And that's exactly what happened today. We're kind of getting down to the wire, and we were just kind of, as the CTO, I'm sitting here having to do some risk assessment and thinking, okay, we're going to literally have to reach out to one of these old developers, have to pay them to come in here and tell us how to fix this, and because we're running out of time. And that's when the guys kind of hunkered down and really started hammering the problem from all these different angles. And it seems like we have it figured out. I don't want to talk too confidently about it yet. We have some more confirmations we got to make tomorrow, but there was just things like that. Like I said, we've had some experiences with some new projects where just the code was so bad, and it's just like,
So you're not profiting off of you writing bad code. You're
no. And I just, it's a tough. We end up in a tough position because it's just like, this is not maintainable. It's like you don't, what you want to pay to have this maintained, we're not the people that can maintain it. Unfortunately, the only person who's going to want to maintain this is somebody else who's going to come in and write bad code for you. And I mean, it's just a tough conversation, but you see this, like these projects, these companies, they get this one developer in who might be good at something and might think they're really good at doing development, but they're not. But now that company ends up being completely dependent on them because that developer is the only one that understands the system, and the only one that understands the craziness of the logic that they wrote. And that developer becomes almost irreplaceable because to bring somebody else in and have them understand what that person wrote is just becomes, you end up paying substantially more because you need somebody who's super good at what they're doing.
So your talk at Laracon is going to be how to put yourself in that situation so that you're unfireable.
how how to
It is.
write bad code and get paid for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I'm on
so.
board.
I know that was a little bit of a rant, but man, we've been doing so much of this legacy code lately, and the reactions we get are mixed. Like our biggest client is probably the best. They're completely understandable of it. They're like, listen, we understand this is going to take some time. We understand there's some limitations, and we work through everything. We over the years we've been slowly weaning them off their legacy code, and they've been completely supportive, and they're getting a much better system as a result. We have another more recent client who is more of a charity, and we took them on, and it was a situation where I worked on the code myself, and I just reached out to them. I'm like, listen, they wanted some enhancements done to the code, and they're a charity, so money's an issue, and how much time they can pay and all. So
Sure.
we were working with them already a lot on the contract, and I just had to tell them, I'm like, hey, listen, this is a bad situation we're in here, because it's not easy for us to make enhancements of this code. This code is poorly done, and we sat down and I explained a lot of it to them, and they're the type that where they are understanding, and they understand that they're going to have to make some business decisions on what they want to do about it. That was
Right.
good. And then we have another, we had another client recently that was just the opposite. They're not understanding. They don't care. The old developer said that they could get it done in 2 hours, which might have taken us a couple days to do. And it's just like, okay, well, then you need to bring that old developer back, because he can get the stuff done quicker, because he understands this spaghetti that he's put together, and it's going to continue to be spaghetti.
Yeah,
You're
make the
never going to have,
cookie.
yeah, you're never going to have a real product, So it's just it's tough. It's tough for us, because ultimately, and I mean, obviously, we're business, right? We want to make money. We want to make sure we have developers, we get paid. But the thing that John and myself are super passionate about is making sure that PHP in general is a good ecosystem, and making sure that the people who have these bad, poorly designed solutions get good, standard compliant, good practices sort of solutions in place, because
Yeah, like
that
put them on something like an LTS framework or
yeah, and that makes it better for everybody, right? I mean, you strengthen the PHP ecosystem, you get better PHP developers, you have a better product, everybody's happy.
yeah.
So that's my rant. I'll continue to rant.
I approve.
LTS, yeah. I gotcha. I heard the LTS reference. I know what you're doing there, Mr. Smarty Pants. Mr. Thinking I'm not paying attention. I just wasn't done yelling yet. I have to yell a lot.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh man.
So
LTS.
what is the LTS news?
Laravel 5.5 is the next LTS release. Thank you very much.
Uh,
Okay, do we care? So
yeah.
LTS is a big word in especially enterprise, right?
Right.
Because there's a to rewind, because I did kind of mumble through that. The next version of Laravel 5.5, which should be ready right around Laracon US, will be the next LTS. The first Laravel LTS was Laravel 5.1. So LTS stands for long-term support. That means that there's guaranteed support for the framework for, I think it was 2 years, and bug support for 3 years, or I never remember the exact links, but it's something like that, where our security bug support for 2 years, security bugs for 3 years get addressed, or somewhere. So are you looking at it? Am I even close?
Yeah, I'm
Are you pulling it up?
not sure what the lengths are specifically on the Laravel LTS, but yeah, for enterprise it's a huge deal. I mean, I guess for us it's not such a big deal. We do a lot of bleeding edge development, and
Right. Well,
So
and so the thing, the LTS again is a big thing in enterprise. Enterprises like to see that because it's adds stability to the solutions they implement. The problem with Laravel is that every freaking version has some new feature that you just can't wait to get your hands on as a developer.
yeah, it's just too good.
Exactly. It's like, you don't want to live without it. And it's we tried doing that when 5.1 came out. We said, okay, that's it. We're standardized on 5.1. Everybody's going to be in the LTS. I don't care what the next versions are. They're probably going to be small incremental fixes here and there, but no, everybody's staying on 5.1. Yeah, by 5.3, I'm like, nah, screw that. Everybody, we're just upgrading. Just upgrade at this point.
Yeah, no, I was doing something on 5.3. I had just upgraded the system to 5.3, and I was doing something, and I went, oh crap, that feature's in 5.4. I can't do that. It's just you got to slow down, Taylor. Stop with the features.
Or at least stop with the good features. I mean, like save them for an LTS release, for crying out loud.
Yeah, bad features only.
The collections tab thing, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead, release that sort of stuff. I'm not really even sure where I would use that, but the cool things, yeah, stop doing that, man. Yeah, so Laravel 5.5 will be the next LTS. Its next release, as we've already stated, it's going to require PHP 7 or higher. So there's a lot that's going to roll out with 5.5. It's going to be interesting to see how well and how quickly that gets adopted. The last time we talked, I don't know if you remember this, I was I was talking about how overwhelmed I'm starting to feel with instant messaging clients. Remember this conversation?
Just too many.
We had somebody else on the show with us that day. Do you remember who it was? There was like another person here. I forget who it was. Somebody.
Not coming to me.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm
Jan?
sure I have him on the instant messaging client here somewhere. Anyways. Oh, there was a Keybase. Yeah, the guy. I think there was a guy from Keybase. Was that who it was? Yeah, he like knew Keybase. Anyways, Amazon is stepping into the ring. Have you heard of Amazon Chime? Amazon Chime?
I've heard of it, but I mean, their premise is a little weak.
They seem to really be going after business. They really seem to be targeting the Skype clients. Like that looks more of what they're doing. They're not looking for like the casual instant messaging people who are trying to talk to their friends or anything like that. They really look like they're focusing in on business.
Yeah, I mean, it ties into Active Directory, which is a big Microsoft thing for business, and it focuses on using strong encryption and having remote administration. So, yeah, it might be they might be firing out at the HIP chat and the Slack group as well. There's this Chime thing has video as well as chat and chat rooms, online meetings.
Yeah, I actually didn't even download this one. I didn't even care.
No.
No, yeah. One of the fun things, I'm a big open source guy, and I really try to focus on open source solutions. Not that I'm a beacon for that, or I do a great job at it all the time, because I do find that I'll use a solution that's open source but Mac specific, which is weird.
Yeah.
But the thing about our group is we have people on every platform. A bunch of us are on Macs. Quite a few of us are on Linux. And it really helps us weed out solutions. So not that we won't pick a solution, but we definitely try to keep in mind that our developers are on all these different platforms. So we need a solution that kind of goes across all of them.
Right.
So things like Amazon, we'll pretty much discount right away because they don't they don't have a Linux client. I don't think they have a web interface for it either. So it's like, okay, well, I can't use you if I wanted to use you because you can't support my staff. So there's nothing I can do about it. That's one good thing about using Linux is it really helps you kind of weed out all these new shiny tools that hit the market, because until they can
You don't get them.
exactly, it's like, hey, I can't use it. Sorry.
Yeah, I run a Windows Linux combo. I have Synergy, which we've talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 boxes, 1 development, 1 personal.
Oh, you're a Raspberry Pi guy, right?
I'm into it, but I have the same problem as you, which is what do I do with it?
Oh no! Did you see my latest tweet? Check it out, man. I got a new case for my Raspberry Pi with the new official Raspberry Pi monitor. In this,
the little screen.
the little thing sets up nicely. I'm going to use it for something. So the screen is a touch screen. So you'd write a little web interface and you just have big buttons there you can press. I was trying to get my.
How much was that?
I think the whole thing together was like $80. The case and the touchscreen, maybe even less than that.
I was shopping today for an intercom. We've got the kids downstairs in their rooms with their headphones on, and I'm upstairs, and I don't want to have to go downstairs to get them just because they left something trash on the table. We're looking at like $150 to $300.
So if you look at the very top here, it has a spot for a camera, a little mount for a camera there. So one of the things I was thinking about doing is configuring this so that I had the camera here, and it's something I could give to my parents and they can put it on their kitchen counter, and it kind of what you're saying, use it as an intercom system. Just a super simple, hey mom, if you need me, I'll design a little web app that just has like a big button on it and say, click that button and it'll call me and we can talk.
Yeah, and that's what, a third of the price of the video intercom systems I've seen. Which is it's totally ridiculous. There's some older technologies that really need to do some catching up.
Yeah. So for all your PHP developers, geeks out there, Rasmus, who is the original creator of PHP, he's the one that started putting together Perl scripts to do his personal homepage, PHP. He, I guess, was digging around and found his old change logs for PHP. I mean, you read it, he posted it, and you read it in reverse order. So he starts with an entry from June 8th, 1995. And it's kind of a fun read. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's kind of fun to see. Like you see PHP kind of picking up momentum just by his changelog entries and how long they're getting and how much stuff he's doing with PHP. And it goes, December 8th, he's on version 1.99, fixed minor compile problem. And if you're into PHP and PHP is always been a thing for you, it's fun to kind of go through this, and you can kind of see points in history of, oh yeah, okay, this is about when I started using PHP. It never even gets there. The last entry he has is January 9th, 1998, when he's releasing version 2.0.1, which is still before I even started. Man, that's right around the time I must have started using PHP right when 3 came out. I thought it was right when 4 came out, but this is 98, January of 98, and I was already using PHP in 99 because I remember I did it right before the Y2K bug came out. So that's crazy, man. It's just crazy looking back at this stuff.
Yeah, and I love
But
some of the stuff like fixed PHP info core dump.
yeah, we'll add that link to the show notes. It was a little tidbit of information. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll put this out there.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you your last Laravel meetup that you did. You got to talk to Adam Wathan.
Correct.
So I got to talk to Adam Wathan.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you have to say? Stop! Get out of my yard.
He said,
Stop following me.
never give that Thomas guy my phone number ever. That's what he said to me.
Perfect.
No, we spoke for LaraChat Live. He came on the LaraChat Live show last week, and so we got to talk. Oh, another cool thing, Adam Wathan actually became my 1,000 Twitter follower.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, look, I got 999 Twitter followers, and he's like, oh, here, click. And then Eduardo, who is a fan of our show and LaraChat Live, he found out that Adam Wathan was my 1,000 Twitter follower, so he proceeded to unfollow me. Knocked me down to like 999. He just let me sweat that out for a little while.
I can't have you thinking too highly of yourself.
No, I thought that was nice of the guy. He followed me back eventually, but yeah, I thought that was funny.
He followed you back once you had 1,000, so that you had 1,001.
No. His thinking was he followed me back, so he was now officially the 1,000. I think that was his thing. So, but what else we got going on? Anything?
Yeah, we've had some interesting news from Cloudflare.
Yeah,
Cloudflare. If you don't know, they do DDoS protection and sort of rapid hosting.
They've had a rough year, right?
What else did they have?
They're the ones that had all the denial of service attacks against them.
Yeah, they did have a pretty nasty attack on them.
And that's their whole business is, hey, yeah, we'll help keep your site safe and your information safe, and nobody will be able to do denial of services on you. And sure enough, that's what happened, and then this happens.
Yeah, and this one's pretty nasty. It looks like they had some kind of buffer overflow type issue, which was causing pages to get rehosted with a logged in user's credentials.
Right. So I think they were leaking. What it was doing is it was kind of leaking leaking memory to HTTP requests. It's kind of how I was reading it.
Yeah. So what would happen is, as they say here, around 1 in every 3,300,000 HTTP requests would result or could result in a memory leakage. So that memory leakage would mean that instead of getting the page that was originally requested, you would get the page that was next on the stack, as far as in memory goes. So it doesn't look like it could be intentionally exploited to pull specific information. You just had to luck out, except that some web scrapers picked up the rehosted pages and put potentially dangerous or sensitive data into their search results.
Yeah, and it was caching that data. Yeah, I think that was the biggest concern.
So pretty nasty.
As a side note, and I only know this from the denial of service attack, Laravel.com and Laracast.com at least used to use Cloudflare. I assume they're still using it. But I know they were using it because I remember, again, during the denial of service attack, that was kind of that's where it came to light that they were using that, because
Yeah,
all the Laravel.com stuff was down. So
and Cloudflare has stated that a number of notable sites were affected or potentially affected by this, um, including stuff like DigitalOcean, Patreon, Stack Overflow, Reddit,
mhm.
Yelp, Uber. So I mean, they have a big client list that could be very angry about this.
Right. So the thing that people need to understand is there is a potential, if you use any of the services that are hosted behind Cloudflare, that your information may have been leaked. Things like passwords, things like private messages. There's a potential that that information has now been leaked. So, I mean, obviously, you need to change your passwords. You know, go back through and start changing passwords. Use two-factor wherever you can. Um, Not sure what to tell you about private messages, but yeah, I mean, it's nasty. It's one of those, well, crap, that's something that can happen sort of realities that a lot of people are going to get hit with. It sucks.
Now, interestingly enough, this ties nicely into another thing I saw this week with the deliciously clickbaity headline: "Cross-site request forgery is dead."
All right. No, that's good news.
So, if you don't know what CSRF is, basically it means inserting code into somebody's website so that when people visit the site, the code executes and does something malicious on another domain. Um, a for example given here is it opens up a hidden iframe to your bank's website and transfers money. If you're not logged into your bank, you're fine. But if you are logged into your bank and your bank doesn't have some kind of auto logout solution, you're screwed. You just get hit. So there's a new technique for mitigating this, and it's called same
Use
site cookies.
use Laravel. What?
Laravel is still vulnerable to CSRF if you don't lock it down correctly.
Well, no, you actually have to unlock it, right?
True,
Because
yeah.
by default, it's actually pretty protective. That's one of those things that frameworks. It's Laravel's not the only one. We talk a lot about Laravel, so we use it, but it's one of those things that frameworks start to abstract away, and you as developer forget it's something you even need to worry about anymore. But I'm sorry, I'm hijacking your story. Go ahead, explain.
Well, this works in an interesting way. So you basically set an attribute to your session cookies. The attribute is same site, and you can set a strict or a lax value. And essentially, what happens is if you're clicking around on a page and linking from page to page to page, you're perfectly fine. But if you are incoming to your own domain from an outside domain, so if it's from a Google link or from a phishing attempt or from a CSRF attempt, then it doesn't use the cookie. The cookie is only valid when the when the source of the request is on the same domain.
Yep.
So that's it's a
That's
smart way of doing it.
Again, that's
Uh,
exactly what Laravel does, right? It creates that CSRF token, and
Correct.
yeah, it's the exact same approach.
Now, the one of the issues with the CSRF token is that people who are browsing with multiple tabs on your website can invalidate their own forms. Um, it's something that's
Not sure I follow.
dumb. Well, since a CSRF token is generated on a per form basis, then if I open up a form and then open up another form in a different tab, and then submit the first form, I'll get a CSRF error.
Hmm.
You can only
Really?
have one. Yeah, a user can only have one token at a time.
Hmm.
Um,
I've
but
never tried that.
this will lock down everything from get, post, delete, everything in the REST stack. The lax mode will only check for dangerous REST methods such as post.
Hmm.
Get, head, and options are all okay.
This looks like it's doing
But
it. So this isn't PHP specific either. This article.
no,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
no, this is just a new, looks like new browser technology. So I'm digging it.
Like I said, it's something I don't worry myself about so much anymore, thanks to frameworks such as Laravel.
Well, you know my motto: live in fear.
Yes, we do know your mottos live. Eduardo actually mentioned that the last time I spoke with him. Yes,
I'm getting a reputation.
you are getting a reputation for sure. He is. People are noticing your tinfoil hat, doom and gloom stuff.
Hey, it's not tinfoil. It's a copper foil. Tinfoil lets too much in.
What do you got for us today?
Oh, interesting stuff. You know, there's been a lot of issues with the Trump administration,
I'm
and
very nervous about this card because we have very strict rules about politics and stuff. So I'm
well,
curious.
this actually, it does apply to the rules. So
Okay.
you would kind of figure that a corporation would have a rule that is basically don't engage in political warfare, or don't engage
Mhm.
in political movements. It's just something that you do to protect yourself.
Corporation, yeah, for sure. Corporation, not so much an individual, but yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, well, Meetup disagrees. Meetup.com.
What?
So Meetup.com partnered up with the Anti-Defamation League, Amnesty International, the Human Rights Campaign, Planned Parenthood, and the Women's March organization, and created a hashtag resist meetup for every city that Meetup has.
Yeah.
They created the meetup. They're hosting it for free. They sent out an email to all Meetup members saying, "Hey, check it out. We built a resist page, and you can join. You can donate. You can market yourself here for assisting in the meetup." It's really fascinating to see a corporation engaging in politics in this way. Um, I can imagine that Meetup doing this has lost them a lot of favor with conservative meetups around the country.
You think? What's your opinion on this? I'm just curious how you feel about this.
I think it is the not just the right, but the necessity of an American citizen to speak up when something is wrong.
I agree with that, and I have reservations with them marketing this. I know it was with good intention, and at least I want to believe it was within good intentions that they did this. The fact that they don't charge, obviously they're not trying to make a profit off of it. There's just something weird about it. It's like, I don't know. I I don't see it as the call to action I think that they were hoping it would be. I see it more as a, hey, we see an opportunity where a lot of people are going to want to gather. Let's jump on this opportunity, make sure we're the place that they go to coordinate this. And that's probably the cynic the cynical person in me saying that, but I don't know.
No, I mean it's fine to be cynical and to say that they have ulterior motives. Yeah, I mean they are a site for.
My producer keeps crashing into my office here when I'm trying to record.
Does your
My
producer need
dog.
to poop?
I don't know. He needs to lay down and so I can shut my door. Sorry.
I'm all for corporations having ulterior motives to do good.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't specifically about Donald Trump. This is about the political landscape as it is in America, generally speaking. But
Yeah.
I work for an adult company, and if we were going to get involved in reproductive rights issues, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, and it's I don't have a lot of opinion. I definitely think people need to. It's funny. It's like, holy crap! Have you heard the Republicans, the Republican representatives? They're like not even showing up to town hall meetings anymore. They're like they're so tired of being yelled at, and they're so afraid of their constituents, pinning them to the mat on breaking promises and not supporting them and not representing them correctly, that they've stopped going to like town hall meetings, stopped doing their civil duties. It's
which means that we're having an effect. I mean, if the person isn't doing their job as a representative, then they need to get the hell out. And so you have to yell at them to either do your job or get the hell out.
Yeah, the resist is interesting. I hope it does good things.
So in this age of people's phones getting searched at borders and Edward Snowden being threatened by presidents, and
what is up with that?
This age of decreasing security for American citizens, it's nice to have what I like to think of as the first ever programming language to add modern cryptography to its standard library.
What programming language would that be, Thomas?
That would be PHP 7.2.
What?
Yeah, usually the crypto libraries that are out there are not standard to languages. They are extended libraries maintained by other groups. But PHP is bucking that standard and adding modern cryptography as part of the core engine.
Mm. It's weird what they categorize as modern. I mean, it's not weird. It's just they have some criteria that things need to meet to be considered modern cryptography, and it's cool to see PHP kind of on the forefront saying, okay, that's it. We're accepting these new standards so that we can have a more modern cryptography package as part of our default core library. So it will be cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of complicated math stuff. It's a lot of things that I don't understand, I won't understand, but it is simple, and that's the goal, is to make it easy to access, easy to be secure, and I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see that this was a unanimous choice to include in 7.2 as well.
And I'm happy to see PHP is continuing to push forward. It's like they finally broke through that barrier of the PHP 5 days where things started stagnating and they never could seem to get to 6, and now they've just kind of the performance has gone through the roof. Just so many standards have been implemented that now they're starting to lead the way down down this cryptography path. It's all good things. I think PHP is really in a position now. They have the leadership, they have the people involved. That's kind of restating its validity as a language to use in the enterprise and as core business solutions.
Now, on the same note, there is a security a new security flaw on the horizon here.
God damn it. You just had me talk all that positivity and you're gonna tear me down, aren't you?
Yeah, that's our thing. I get you hyped up and excited, and then I poop.
You poop.
I poop out the badness.
Go ahead.
This isn't the worst. So SHA-1 has been known to have insecurities. You know, around 2005, there were brute forces that could create matching SHA-1 hashes on two different documents intentionally, which is, bad.
Mm-hmm.
But this is being called a practical technique to compromise hashes. It's called shattered, and it is 100,000 times faster than brute force attacks.
Which sounds like a lot, but brute force attacks take a lot of time too.
Yeah, the number of attempts that are brute force attacks is roughly over what I think is the real number, 9 quintillion iterations. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18 zeros.
That's a lot of zeros.
A lot of zeros. So this is much faster, but it's still real slow.
Yeah.
They were able to produce two PDFs that had differing text but matching SHA-1 hashes. But they had to use the power of Google's gigantic server farm to do this, and it still took a significant amount of time. I think they said it was a couple months that it was crunching numbers.
Yeah.
But
And,
yeah,
this is something they were targeting. I mean, it's not like they stumbled upon this. They've been working on this for a couple years to kind of prove this theory of the SHA-1 collisions and what the best attack for it would be. So, I mean, that's one thing to take in consideration. Is this was a bunch of really smart people who had the power, some serious compute power behind them. It was Google, right? That was the research
yeah,
team
these were
behind
Google
this.
engineers.
Right. These are Google people, and you know, yeah. So it's not something that your kid's going to pop open a laptop and do anytime soon, but just the fact that it's now kind of reproducible. We have an understanding. It's clear that there's this issue, and how do we
It's
want to address it?
Yeah, and it's now feasible at the corporate and state level. So,
Mhm.
we now know the NSA could do this when they wanted to. Um, the implications here are that SHA-1 hashes are used to verify trust in a file that's been downloaded versus the file intended to be downloaded. Um,
Mhm.
so this, in combination with a hack, this could create a massive problem. If you've got applications that are downloaded every day or updated frequently, and you're using SHA-1 to verify your hashes, don't. You have a job to the users to provide secure numbers, and it's not hard. It's SHA-256 exists, and it's just a simple signature change. Instead of signing it with SHA-1, you sign it with SHA-256.
Yeah,
There
the
are
one
some
thing
there
Good.
are some interesting things about this attack. So if you're concerned that your file has been compromised and want to see if your SHA-1 has been invalidated, or if the file is matching SHA-1 but the file itself has been altered, this attack actually leaves a signature. There's a fingerprint in the algorithm which generates the SHA, the new matching data for the SHA sum. So this team has released a free detection system as well as integrated protections into Gmail. So if you receive a file in Gmail and the SHAs don't match, it won't let you download the file.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how it knows that. But so the one thing I wasn't clear on is when they did this and they like, for example, replaced the text in the PDF. If they were able to define what that text was, or if that text was defined by the system trying to compute the same SHAs, meaning could they actually manipulate what the text was saying? So, you know, you know, yeah, it says something completely different but makes sense. Like it's in context of the whole file, or is it just some random jumbled text in there that some supercomputer had produced that would fulfill that space in keeping the SHA intact?
Well, so in almost every format for a file, there is some kind of ability to pad the file. For JPEGs, you can fill up headers, or you can put a line terminator that implies that the file is completed, and then after the terminator, you can just dump in garbage text.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of ways of hiding data in a file. And what they do is they take their original file, they get the SHA, and then they give the second file, which is exactly what they want it to say, and give it to the algorithm, give the SHA that they are trying to reproduce to the algorithm, and the algorithm attempts this number of
Okay. So
insertions of
you
random
answered
data.
my question then. So it is manipulated data that an attacker would actually want to inject. It's not data produced by the system.
Right. So if it was an executable file, then they would dump garbage text into the end of the executable portion of the file. So when you ran it, it just ran what it was supposed to. The extra text got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that with almost any file that I know of, except for maybe a text file.
Hmm. All right. Well, we're rounding out the hour here. I think that
We're
was
close to 2 weeks and 1 hour is a pretty good time for us.
that.
We
I'm
usually
actually
put
pretty
1 week into an
impressed.
hour and a half.
I know, man. I'm actually pretty. Oh, I did want to mention something. It's been 2 weeks now, so I feel bad. The last show we talked, we had somebody else on that show, man. I wish I could remember who it was. There was
James,
another. There was another guy. Gary. Does Gary sound right to you?
I think it was
Gary.
James Crabtree.
Yeah, yeah. We must not have liked him much because we didn't invite him back. Anyways, we were talking about Laracon Online, and some of the speakers that were talking, and how it was overlapping with Laracon US conference, and
Right,
what the
right.
content was going to be. Yeah. So Laravel News, of course, they came out a couple days after us, and they had uh, Ian on it, and he was actually pretty clear in Laravel News when you listen to it that they weren't anticipating any overlap in talks. Like I mean, I don't think it's anything that they're intentionally avoiding, but he felt that the speakers who were overlapping the talks are going to be completely different from, I think, from his understanding of what they said they were going to speak about. So, if you are thinking about doing Laracon online as well as Laracon US, you don't have to worry about having to kind of sit through the same talk twice because it should be fresh content.
Excellent.
I wanted to put that
That's
out
good
there.
to know.
Yeah, I wanted to put that out there because I know it was a topic of discussion for us. So
Yeah. It is also only $10 for Laracon Online.
I don't think it is anymore. We should check that real fast. $10 was the early bird special, which ended yesterday. I do not know what the new price is. I'm suspecting $20. Am I right? Is it $20?
Yep, it's $20.
I totally just picked that. That's awesome. Look at that. Price doubled. Who can afford that now?
This is way out of my range.
$20.
Actually, I told my boss that I needed to go to this, and he told me it was too expensive. Strict but fair.
I know a couple guys on the team purchased. I actually haven't purchased, and I really should because I it's kind of what I do, but I cannot. I don't think I could sit and watch people talk all day. In my office, I just don't think I could do it.
That's what we do.
An hour at a time. This thing runs from 8 a.m. Eastern time. It runs from 8 a.m. Eastern time to 6 p.m. It's like that's like I don't know. I haven't bought a ticket yet. I might. I don't know where I was. Somebody had suggested a viewing party, and that's actually something else Ian addressed in the Laravel news. They had him on. He was a guest, and he mentioned that somebody had reached out to him about a viewing party, and it was funny. His response was kind of like, "Hey, yeah, that's a great idea." Well, wait a minute. The kind of years are going that they really didn't have a party plan where you could subscribe and say, hey, show this to the office for $50 or something like that. So there was that aspect of it, and I mean he was pretty honest. They weren't too worried about it, but it definitely seems like it was something that next year they'll think about. Like, hey, if you want to do a viewing party, here's the package you should buy. I mean, there's nothing stopping anybody from buying one ticket and viewing it. So somebody at our user group said, hey, why don't we do that? Why don't we have a viewing party for Laracon online? And I thought it was a good idea. Then I thought about the pricing. Then I heard his response on that exact topic. I'm like, yeah, they seem like they're okay with it, but there's not really something that they're encouraging, and I don't know. I ended up not suggesting it.
Which is why we're proud to announce that for only $20 you can join our Discord channel and listen to us talk over the presentations with our classic wit and rapport.
Live commentary. Commentary at the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to hear us interrupt everyone speaking.
Followers. We're too busy interrupting each other.
Is $20 not enough money? We should be asking for more?
No. All right.
I usually charge a pretty good amount for listening to me.
I don't know what to do here. It's only 10:47 here on the West Coast. Usually you and I talk to about midnight. It's weird. We're in different time zones now.
We'll have to flip it back and forth. We'll have to do 10:30 your time, 10:30 my time.
You don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not as punchy. It's earlier in the evening, so you haven't been working on the glass of whiskey as well.
I haven't been drinking. Yeah, that's. I got hammered last night. We had our meetup. Oh my goodness, dude, you missed it.
I
last
was
night
wondering what the noise was about because I heard stories.
we had our Laravel meetup, and me and this other guy, I forget what his name is. He comes to, he's on the show every now and then. He used to help me run the user groups. It's this guy. There was actually a group of the DiegoDev Group. You know, you know how it is. We do our co-working pregame before meetups, and the representative for Blue Moon Beer ended up showing up at the bar we're at and
Oh
gave us a couple
no.
around. Oh, we got glasses, we got T-shirts, we got free beer, and pretty lit by the time I left. We had a designated driver. We had a designated driver drive us to the meetup.
Yeah, the guy from Blue Moon felt bad, so he drove you.
It was fantastic. It was the most I drank in a long time, and
Oh,
the
that's
hardest I laughed in a long time.
a problem I'd like to have. Alcohol here in Colorado is bizarre.
Why? Well, explain.
There's 3 licenses.
You've got, isn't like Coors there? I mean, don't like Coors beer just run through the faucets?
You would think so. And in the grocery store, it appears so. But that's it. There's the bar and restaurant license, which is the normal bar and restaurant license, closes it to all that jazz. But then there's the grocery store license, which is called the 3.2 license.
That is not a very big number.
No, that's a small number. And it
is that how many beers you're allowed to drink?
It's how much alcohol by volume you can have per beer.
Is that even still considered beer? I thought that was like Zima.
Yeah, no, it's Coors, it's Miller, it's Apple, the
Well,
Angry
that's why
Orchard.
you have a.
Oh no, listen to this. You'll love this. It's Angry Orchard, Lemon Shandy, all the flavored beers, the quote unquote beers, and Fat Tire. And every grocery store has the exact same selection of beers. There's no such thing as craft beer or what I would call good beer at grocery stores or any other store.
I realize you haven't been there that long, but are there no microbreweries or anything like that?
There are, and it gets interesting. Now, you heard that I said Fat Tire as one of the carried beers. Fat Tire is 5.8% alcohol. So what's it doing in the What's it doing in the store? They make a deflated tire that is 3.2.
You stop. Is it called deflated tire?
No, I call it deflated tire.
Oh.
That's my name for the stupid thing they've done to ruin their own beer.
But you guys have pot, right? Don't you guys have pot?
Not in the Springs. You gotta
really?
drive. No, you gotta drive out of town to a friendly. Now we have Focus on the Family here. They can't have that kind of stuff. Now,
yeah, but
what they do have,
it's legal in the state, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But what they do have is they have
local.
Right. Now they have liquor stores here, which are not like liquor stores in California, because at liquor stores in California you can buy beer and a candy bar and a magazine.
Yes.
But to have a full liquor license, you can only sell alcohol.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, if you're a grocery store and you have 2 separate buildings, then one of those buildings can be the alcohol building, and the other building can be the rest of the groceries building, which is what Costco is trying to do here in Colorado, but they haven't gotten the license yet for it. So it's weird stuff. But the liquor stores, they have to close at midnight. They can stock almost anything, as far as I could tell. I think there's a maximum alcohol, like 67%, that you can't go over. Yeah, but basically moonshine, no moonshine.
Yeah, nothing that actually kills you.
Yeah, but they have to be closed on Christmas.
That's pretty common. And
yeah,
are they open on Sundays?
They're legally they are open on Sundays, but they're legally not allowed to be open on Christmas So if you run out of Christmas wine, you're out of luck.
That's fine. I
Yeah.
don't see a problem with that.
Interestingly, though, there are absolutely no restrictions on any of the 3 licenses on election day. So when choosing your future governors, you can be as hammered as you want anywhere.
Matter of fact, we recommend it.
It would have been helpful this year.
All right, Mr. Rideout. Well, I'm happy you got to your new location in Colorado Springs and got settled in and you're staying warm. Good to hear. I missed you.
Pretty nice. I miss you guys too.
Yeah, missed you. But yeah, good to hear. Good get back on the air. So this has been episode 50, but this is technically our 51st week of doing it. So we've almost been doing this for a full year. You realize
we're 1 week away from a complete year.
I'm gonna have to go back and look because that doesn't seem. It couldn't have been. We started this in March. That just seems crazy to me.
We used to have someone else with us, though. I can't.
I feel like there was always another presence, but I don't remember.
No, yeah, it's not.
I don't remember.
It's not coming to me.
It wasn't very impactful. Clearly, I'm looking through SoundCloud now because I can't believe that it's actually been that long. I don't even know if this has the dates on it. Let me see. We have a lot of shows here, man. Look at this. The Shape of Round. What was that about? The Shape of Round.
I don't know. We were drunk.
We got some great names here. Talking About Nothing. The Money Train. Here it is. Episode number 1, recorded 11 months ago. Do I have any show notes? When's the show notes on this thing? I see. I don't even put the date on it. Oh my goodness. Oh, there you go. We got our GitHub account too. What's the GitHub account says? Recorded March 13th, 2016. So yeah, we're quickly approaching 1 year. I cannot hear a word you're saying anymore.
We have an episode here with 260 something listens. 265. Upgrade.
People love that upgrade title. That's a nice one. That was yours. I wonder who all got that. Where did you want to explain upgrade?
Upgrade is the name of the pimp in Idiocracy. It's spells it with 2 D's for a double dose of his pimpin'.
You said that so perfectly. Oh,
I've been watching that movie recently whenever I'm in too good of a mood. just to bring myself down a notch.
I think that's their most listened to show. Is Upgrade or most listened to? Looks that way.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nice job.
If you remember correctly, we had another name for it, but I overruled you on it.
What was the other name? I forget.
I can't remember.
Oh shit! I was gonna name this show that. God damn! I thought you had something, man. I was gonna call this show that. Really confused people. All right, Thomas. That's it. I'm calling this episode 50. It's in the books.
Eric.
We're done.
It has been a pleasure speaking with you again. We'll have to do this next week.
Eric Van Johnson.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
I like that we've got our silent beats down well enough that we can do that timed.